Let's paint a picture. A massive winter storm is brewing. It's the kind that has the weather channels buzzing, and in 48 hours, the familiar rhythm of life could grind to a halt. Roads might become impassable, power grids are at risk, and the quiet hum of modern life could be replaced by an unnerving silence, broken only by the wind. Right now, in this brief, precious window of calm, the stores are still open. The shelves are still stocked. The panic hasn't set in yet. But it will. This is your 48-hour head start. The people who have seen this before, the ones who know the grim reality of a multi-day outage in sub-zero temperatures, they're already moving. Today, we are on a mission. A critical mission to secure the 11 items that will vanish from shelves the moment the first snowflake of panic begins to fall. This isn't just a shopping list, it's a strategic plan. This is about what the pros grab to ensure their families are safe, warm, and fed, while everyone else is left staring at empty shelves, fighting over the last loaf of bread. This is your head start. This is your chance to move from a position of anxiety to a position of strength. Let's get to work. Number 10. Insulation and weatherproofing supplies. Let's kick things off with the very shell of your fortress, your home. Coming in at number 10 is a category most people completely ignore until they're shivering in their living rooms, feeling an icy draft that seems to cut right through their bones. I'm talking about insulation and weatherproofing supplies. Think about it. When a storm is announced, what's the first survival instinct? Hunker down. But what if your shelter, your own home, is actively working against you, leaking precious heat into the frozen world outside? This is a battle you fight and win times before times. The storm arrives. While the unprepared are thinking about food, the pros are thinking about heat retention. That's the first layer of real preparedness. The items that disappear from hardware store shelves are surprisingly simple, yet profoundly effective. We're talking about plastic window insulation kits. You've seen them, the clear film you stretch over your windows and shrink tight with a hairdryer. They create an insulating pocket of air that dramatically reduces heat loss. These kits are cheap, they're effective, and they are one of the first things to get snatched up by those in the know. Next, weather stripping for doors and windows. That little gap under your front door might seem insignificant now, but when the temperature plummets and the wind howls, it's an open highway for cold air. A simple roll of adhesive foam stripping can seal that gap and make a world of difference. Caulk is another hero in this category. Finding and sealing small cracks and gaps around window frames and pipes is a pro move. It's tedious, which is why most people don't do it, but it's one of the best ways to keep your home warm. Here's the pro tip most people miss. Don't just think about windows and doors. Think about power outlets. Electrical outlets on exterior walls are notorious for drafts. Simple foam gaskets that fit right behind the outlet cover are incredibly effective and take seconds to install. Buy a pack for every room in your house. The average person thinks their furnace is the only thing that matters. They crank the thermostat, burning through fuel at an alarming rate, while a huge chunk of that expensive heat pours right out of unsealed gaps. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. By spending a little time and money on these items, you're not just making your home more comfortable, you're extending the life of your heating fuel, which, as we'll see later, is a resource more precious than gold in a prolonged emergency. Don't be the person staring at an empty hook where the window kits used to be. Secure your perimeter first. Number 9. Car emergency kits. At number 9, we move from the fortress of your home to your potential lifeline or your potential trap. Your vehicle. An astonishing number of people see a winter storm warning as a signal to stay off the roads, which is smart. But they fail to see their car for what it also is. A secondary shelter, a potential charging station, and a critical asset that needs its own survival kit. The roads might be closed, but emergencies don't stop. A medical issue or a mandatory evacuation can still force you out into the storm. When panic buying starts, people think about their house, not their car. This is a dangerous oversight. Official recommendations from agencies like the CDC consistently stress the importance of a vehicle-specific kit, and the components of this kit will disappear fast. First, let's talk about staying warm. A simple wool blanket is good. A sub-zero rated sleeping bag is better. If your car dies in a blizzard, the temperature inside will plummet to lethal levels in a shockingly short amount of time. Extra hats, gloves, and coats aren't optional. They are essential survival gear. Next, traction. This stuff vanishes with comical speed. Bags of sand or even cat litter, When your tires are spinning on ice, pouring a little under the wheels can give you the critical traction you need to get unstuck. People laugh about buying cat litter when they don't have a cat, but the people who've been stranded on an icy road aren't laughing. They're buying it. And right alongside it, a sturdy, collapsible snow shovel. Not a plastic toy, but a real metal shovel that can dig you out. Now for the pro-level items. Jumper cables are a given, but what about a portable battery booster? These modern packs can jumpstart your car without a second vehicle. In a storm where no one else is on the road, that self-reliance is priceless. A tow rope is another item that's there 1 minute and gone the next. And here's the most critical tip for your vehicle kit. It needs its own dedicated food and water, not just a leftover bag of chips. We're talking high-calorie energy bars and several bottles of water. Being stranded is bad. Being stranded and dehydrated is a life-threatening emergency. The common mistake is assuming that because your gas tank is full, you're prepared. But what if the engine won't start? What if you slide into a ditch and the exhaust pipe is blocked by snow, making it deadly to run the engine for heat due to carbon monoxide poisoning? Suddenly, the fuel is irrelevant. Your survival depends on the gear times inside times your car. This kit isn't an accessory. It's a fundamental pillar of winter preparedness that is almost always assembled too late. Number 8. Snow removal tools. Coming in at 8-9 are the tools that dictate your freedom of movement. Snow removal tools. This seems obvious, right? Snowstorm's coming, so you need a shovel. But the reality of what sells out, and why, is a little more nuanced. The first thing to vanish, without fail, is ice melt. Rock salt, calcium chloride, it doesn't matter. When people realize they won't be able to get their car out of the driveway, or even walk to their mailbox without risking a serious fall, they make a mad dash for anything that melts ice. The demand is so sudden that stores are often cleared out in a single afternoon. And since supply trucks can't get through on icy roads to restock, once it's gone, it's gone. A rookie mistake is buying only one bag. The pros know you need far more than you think, especially if you get freezing rain followed by snow. Next, the shovel. But here's the pro versus everyone else insight. Not all shovels are created equal. The cheap, all-plastic shovels will be the first to be grabbed by the panicking masses. They'll also be the first to break on heavy, wet snow or ice. The pros look for shovels with a metal edge strip for chipping and a sturdy, ergonomic handle. An even better pro tip? Have more than one. A big pusher-style shovel for clearing wide areas, and a smaller, tougher one for lifting and digging. And let's talk about bigger tools. Snowblowers are a high-ticket item, but the moments before a major storm are when stores sell their entire year's stock. If you're considering one, waiting until the storm is named is too late. Just as important, and what sells out just as fast, is the fuel for them. Here's a critical piece of advice that almost everyone forgets. The roof rake. A massive snowfall can put thousands of pounds of stress on your roof, potentially leading to collapse. It can also cause ice dams at the edge of your roof, which force water back up under your shingles and into your house. A roof rake lets you safely pull snow off your roof from the ground. It's not a common item, which means hardware stores carry very few. They are gold dust in a blizzard. The mentality of the unprepared is, I'll just wait for the plows. The mentality of the prepared is, I am my own plow. Having the right tools isn't about convenience. It's about ensuring you can get out in an emergency and preventing costly damage. These tools are your ticket to mobility, and they will be gone in a flash. Number 7. First aid and medical supplies. At number 7, we address a chilling reality of any disaster. The sudden isolation from professional medical help. When roads are impassable and emergency services are swamped, you become your own first responder. That's why first aid kits and medical supplies are stripped clean from pharmacy shelves by people who suddenly realize a 911 call might go unanswered. The fastest-selling items are pre-packaged first aid kits. People grab them because it's easy. But pros know these basic kits are for minor scrapes, not the serious injuries that can happen in a storm, lacerations from a broken window, burns from a tipped-over space heater, or fractures from a fall on ice. This is where insider knowledge comes in. You need to think like a medic and build out your kit. What truly vanishes are the components for treating traumatic injuries. Tourniquets, blood-clotting gauze, and chest seals. The prepper community understands this, and they buy these items well in advance. But it's not just about trauma. Think about common illnesses. Cold and flu meds, fever reducers like ibuprofen and acetaminophen, and children's versions of these medicines will be gone almost instantly. A simple fever can become a major crisis if you can't manage it. The most critical item, and one that causes true panic, is prescription medication. FEMA and the CDC recommend having at least a week's supply, but the pros aim for a month. When a storm is 48 hours out, pharmacies are inundated. Insurance often puts limits on early refills, leading to chaos and shortages. Don't wait. Here's a pro tip 99% of people miss: dental emergency supplies. A broken tooth or lost filling is excruciating. A small tube of temporary dental cement is an invaluable and cheap addition to your kit. Your first aid kit isn't just a box you forget in a closet. It is a personalized system you build and maintain, and the components to build a truly effective one will be some of the first and most important items to disappear. All right, we are deep into our mission now, and you're getting intel that most people will never have. You're learning to think ahead, to move before the panic starts. If this strategic approach to safety is valuable to you, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It tells the algorithm that this is critical information more people need to see. And if you want to keep getting these kinds of in-depth guides, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a community here dedicated to being a rock of preparedness in a world of uncertainty. Now, let's get back to the countdown. The next item is one that involves a fundamental force of modern life, and when it's gone, the world changes in an instant. Number 6. Portable chargers and power banks. We've reached number 6, and we're talking about the lifeblood of modern communication: portable power. In a winter storm, the power grid is one of the first things to fail. When the lights go out, society's immediate instinct is to reach for their phones, and in that moment, the single most important thing becomes the battery percentage in the top corner of that screen. This is why portable chargers and power banks evaporate from store shelves. Not just the small ones that might give you half a charge. When a real storm is coming, people want power, and they want a lot of it. The large, high-capacity power banks, the 20,000 milliamp hour or higher models, are the first to go. The electronics aisle becomes a frantic scene. Here's the pro insight. The mistake most people make is they only think about their phones. The pro thinks about their entire electronic ecosystem. This includes their phone, yes, but also their battery-powered radio, their headlamps, and tablets for entertaining kids. This requires a layered approach. Pro tip 1. Diversify your charging sources. Don't rely solely on pre-charged power banks. A hand crank charger is a must-have. It's a workout, but it provides a potentially infinite source of power. It's the ultimate guarantee you can make an emergency call. Solar chargers are another good layer, though they're less reliable in a cloudy winter storm. Pro tip 2. Understand your power bank's limitations. Many cheaper power banks aren't cold weather rated. Their efficiency plummets in the cold. Look for power banks designed for rugged, outdoor use. They're more expensive, but they'll actually work when you need them. Pro tip 3. Maintain your power sources. Power banks slowly lose their charge. The prepared person doesn't just toss them in a drawer. They're part of a regular maintenance cycle, charged every few months so they are at 100% when needed. The worst feeling in the world is to pull out your emergency power bank only to find it's dead. When the power goes out, your connection to the outside world, your source of critical updates, and your ability to call for help all depend on these small devices. The demand for them is absolute. By the time the lights flicker, it's already too late. The shelves will be bare. Number 5. Fuel. We've arrived at number 5, and this item is the absolute bedrock of winter survival. Fuel. Without a source of energy, everything else begins to fail. Your furnace stops, your generator is useless, and your car is a stationary block of metal. When a major storm is imminent, the rush on fuel is one of the most predictable and chaotic scenes you'll witness. First, vehicle fuel. Gas stations become epicenters of pre-storm panic. Lines of cars snake out onto the street. The CDC and other agencies recommend keeping your tank at least half full all winter, but most people don't listen. As a result, the sudden demand drains station tanks dry. Once the storm hits, fuel delivery trucks aren't getting through. The pro move isn't just filling your car's tank. It has approved gasoline containers filled and safely stored. This fuel is for your generator, your snowblower, or as a reserve. Good fuel cans that don't leak are one of those items you never think about until you desperately need one, and by then, they're all gone. Now, let's talk about heating fuel, which is even more critical. If you have a furnace that runs on heating oil or propane, the days before a storm are your last chance. Fuel delivery companies are swamped. The cardinal rule for the prepared is to never let your tank drop below half full in the winter. And for those with fireplaces or wood stoves, firewood becomes an instant hot commodity. People who haven't thought about their fireplace all year suddenly want to buy a cord of wood. The problem is, seasoned, ready-to-burn firewood is a limited resource. Suppliers sell out fast. Bags of firewood at grocery and hardware stores are laughably small and overpriced, but even those will be snatched up. The critical mistake people make is underestimation. They underestimate how quickly gas stations run dry, how long it will take to get a heating oil delivery, or how much firewood they'll burn through in 72 hours. Fuel is energy. Energy is heat. Heat is life. In a winter storm, this equation is absolute. The rush to secure this resource will be intense and swift. Be ahead of it. Number 4. Warm clothing and blankets. We have reached number 4. This item is so fundamental that people assume they have it covered. That assumption is dangerously wrong. I'm talking about high-quality warm clothing and blankets. Here's the scenario. The power goes out. Your house immediately starts losing heat. Within hours, the temperature starts dropping. The stylish sweaters in your closet are not going to cut it. This is when layers become a matter of survival. What sells out? Not just any clothing. It's the specific, high-performance gear. Thermal underwear is first to go. This is your base layer. Wool socks are next. People realize their cotton socks will be useless, or even dangerous, as they trap sweat and freeze. A good pair of thick, wool blend socks is worth its weight in gold. Then comes insulated jackets, gloves, and hats. They're stripped from the racks. People who thought their winter coat was good enough suddenly realize it wasn't designed for 24/7 wear in a freezing house. But the real secret item that vanishes instantly is blankets. And not just any blankets. While the masses are grabbing fleece throws, the pros are looking for wool blankets and sub-zero sleeping bags. A wool blanket retains its insulating properties even when damp. A sleeping bag rated for 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below is basically a personal survival shelter. You can be in a 40-degree room and be perfectly warm inside a good sleeping bag. These are considered camping gear, and the supply is limited. They're one of the first things cleared out by people who have experienced a true winter power outage. The pro tip here is to think in terms of a complete sleep system. A sleeping bag is great, but an inflatable camping pad underneath it will prevent the cold ground from sucking the heat right out of your body. The most dangerous mistake is overconfidence in your wardrobe. Your bedding is designed for a heated home. You don't just need more layers, you need the right times layers. Materials matter. Wool, down, and high-tech synthetics are the tools of survival. Cotton is a liability. When the cold really sets in, this gear is a lifeline. Number 3. Emergency heating sources. We're in the top 3, the absolute essentials. At number 3 is the item that directly combats the primary threat of a winter storm, the cold itself. Alternative and emergency heating sources. When your furnace goes quiet, your home becomes dangerously cold. The race to secure a backup heating solution is one of the most frantic parts of pre-storm prep. The king of this category is the portable generator. It's the ultimate solution, capable of powering a heater, refrigerator, and more. Because of this, they are the first high-ticket item to sell out completely. If you don't have one 48 hours before a storm, you won't get one. And the gasoline or propane to run them will also vanish. But generators are expensive, so what does everyone else rush to buy? Portable indoor space heaters. Specifically, propane-powered models rated for indoor use. Brands like Mr. Heater become impossible to find. They're popular because they can heat a small, insulated room effectively. The small 1-pound propane cylinders they use also sell out with incredible speed. A pro move is to have an adapter hose to connect the heater to a larger 20-pound propane tank from your grill. This extends your runtime from hours to days. Another item that disappears is firewood. If you have a fireplace or wood stove, it's your most reliable heating tool. Bags of firewood, fire starters, and lighters will be gone. This brings us to the pro tip that is not a gadget but a lifesaver. A battery-operated carbon monoxide detector. If you are running any times kind of alternative heat source, you must have a working CO detector. Improper use of these heaters is a leading cause of death during winter storms. Generators must never be run indoors, and fuel-burning appliances need ventilation. Test your CO detector. Put fresh batteries in it. This device is as important as the heater itself. The mistake is waiting until the power is out to think about heat. The prepared person has a primary heating method, a backup method, the fuel for both, and the safety equipment to use them. Heat is life, and the tools to create it are the hottest commodity in town before a storm. Number 2. Non-perishable food. We have arrived at number 2. This is the one you see on the news every time. The empty shelves and overflowing shopping carts, food. Specifically, non-perishable food that requires minimal or no cooking. The run on grocery stores is a primal instinct, but the unprepared make critical errors. When panic hits, people grab what they know: bread, milk, and eggs. These are the French toast items. They require refrigeration and cooking, two things that are likely to be unavailable. This is a classic rookie mistake. Within a day, all that milk will be spoiling in a dead refrigerator. The pro walks right past those aisles. They are heading for canned goods, dry goods, and high-energy snacks. This is where the real panic buying happens. Canned goods are decimated first. Soups, stews, chilies, canned meats like tuna and chicken. They're shelf-stable and many can be eaten cold if necessary. The mistake people make? They forget to buy a manual can opener. All that food is useless if you can't open it. The pro has 2 or 3. Next up, high-energy, no-cook foods, peanut butter, crackers, protein bars, nuts, and dried fruit. These are perfect for keeping your energy up without using any fuel. These aisles will be picked clean. Here's pro-level thinking. Plan for morale. Being stuck in a cold, dark house is stressful. Having comfort foods like cookies, hard candies, or hot cocoa mix can make a huge psychological difference. Another critical category that sells out is food for the most vulnerable: baby food, formula, and pet food. If you have a baby or a pet, you can't wait. The supply for these items is often less robust, and they will disappear in the very first wave of shopping. The ultimate pro tip is to think about your food system. It's not just the food, it's the can opener. It's a small camp stove to heat soup. It's disposable plates and utensils, because you may not have water to wash dishes. Don't be in that crowd buying for just one meal. Number 1. Bottled water. Here it is. The number 1 item that will vanish from shelves in the 48 hours before a winter storm. It's the single most essential element for human life, and the one people are most terrified of losing. Bottled water. The entire bottled water aisle will be a barren wasteland within hours of a major storm announcement. Not a single bottle will be left. The run on water is absolute, total, and faster than anything else. Why? The reasons are stark. A winter storm can knock out water supplies in multiple ways. Power outages can shut down municipal water pumps. Your taps could run dry. Even more commonly, freezing temperatures can cause pipes to burst, either the city mains or the pipes in your home. When that happens, your water is gone. Emergency agencies like FEMA recommend at least 1 gallon of water per person, per day, for a minimum of 3 days. The pros aim for a week or more. Here's the pro insight: 90% of panic buyers miss. They drastically underestimate how much they need. 1 gallon per person per day is the absolute minimum for survival. The pros plan for 2. 1 for drinking, and 1 for hygiene, washing hands, brushing teeth, and so on. The most common and dangerous mistake is complacency. It's the belief that the water will be fine. People who have never lost their water supply can't fathom it. They think, I can just fill up the bathtub. While that's a decent last-minute backup plan for sanitation, not drinking, it's a sign you've already failed to prepare properly. Water is life. You either have it or you are in a desperate, life-threatening situation. Securing your water supply is the first and most important step you must take. Do not wait. And that's the mission. That is the list. 11 categories of critical supplies that will define your safety and well-being in a major winter storm. While the unprepared are just starting to feel that first twinge of panic, you have a plan. You have the intel. You now know what to get, why it's important, and the mistakes to avoid. This knowledge transforms you from a potential victim into a protector of your family. Safety isn't an accident. It's the result of deliberate, calm, and informed preparation. Your mission is to act on it. If you found this mission-critical briefing valuable, hit that like button to signal that this information needs to be seen by more people. And second, subscribe and join our community, where we are all committed to building skills and resilience. Now, for our final call to action, head to the comments section and tell me the number one item on your personal prep list before a storm. Your experience is valuable. Let's share our knowledge and build the ultimate preparedness community together. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you on the next mission.